folks. This is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa. Herzlich willkommen bei uns. Unsere Sendung kommt heute aus den Vereinigten Staaten in Pennsylvania. Ich bin der Oberst in der Retreat, yeah, Colonel Oberst Chris Wyatt. Pleasure to have you back once again, folks. So, Hochandit, South Africa, Otsihilijang, Botswana, and parts of South Africa. Servus, and welcome back to the program. My opening statement for today. The United States Supreme Court has handed the Biden regime a triumph in rejecting a challenge made by several states' attorneys general that sought to uphold the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution by preventing the federal government from contacting, coercing, cajoling, or corrupting social media platforms to collude with them to censor what it claims is misinformation. Lost in this decision by the Supreme Court is the obvious question: what is misinformation, and who gets to determine what is misinformation? And why does a cabal of dishonest politicians and unelected bureaucrats have the power to override your natural rights? This is bizarre, to say the very least, folks. Incredulously, the Supreme Court of the United States has ruled that states and users who had challenged those interactions had not suffered the sort of direct injury that gave them standing to sue. That's utter nonsense. The shocking 6-3 decision should once and for all settle the ludicrous claim that this court is a conservative court. The 6-3 decision against the Constitution is shocking. And here we have yet another example of an incoherent decision that makes no sense whatsoever. Additionally, this result will allow federal criminals in the bureaucracy and politically appointed members of the corrupt Biden regime, or for that matter, any other executive regime, to blatantly violate the Constitution, censoring Americans through their proxies. It leaves open the question as to what limits the First Amendment imposes on the government's power to influence technology companies, a question most reasonable and prudent Americans have already decided should not even be in debate. Well, folks, there you have it. There's my opening statement. You can find a full video with all of that commentary and analysis on @RealChrisWyatt, where I've published that for Walsh, who's in the Four Trekkers group. If you happen to be here, since I don't think you are, and you're always complaining about why am I doing South African news coverage? Why don't I cover anything else? Well, obviously, you're being disingenuous once again. Now that I'm back on home soil and able to comment on these developments, I am doing it once again. Welcome back to the program, folks. Lots of news to talk about today. South Africa's dysfunctional government works in your favor. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. We're also going to talk about the fractious, as I sadly predicted was a possibility, the collapse of the GNU, of the Government of National Unity, which, of course, is not a Government of National Unity. It's simply a coalition in disguise, a ridiculous coalition of 10 parties that would never hold, and it may already be on the verge of collapse based on the backtracking of the ANC. Wow. What's this? What did I find here on the table? What's that? Ooh. You know, we don't have Mug and Bean here in America, even though it's named after fictitious characters from Boston, Mug and Bean. What might we have in there? Ooh, what is this? What is this? Ooh. Is that a Mug and Bean blueberry muffin? Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. It's so good. Oh, it smells good too. Mug and Bean blueberry muffin made it all the way across the Atlantic to the confines of my studio here in Central Pennsylvania. Well, thank you, Cameron Nichols, for subscribing. Appreciate that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The goat muffin, the greatest of all time. Indeed, Mug and Bean's muffins are fantastic. I think that'll add half a kilo to my body weight. Be looking robust tomorrow. First, before we get into the news, folks, let me just go ahead and say hi to everybody out there. Also, no, I'm not going to get into it now, but I don't really want to talk about hate wankers. We can do that another time. John Jarvis here was reported this morning the DA has offered 6 ministries to make sense. Big question, of course, which ones? I have that information, John. Stay tuned. We're going to comment on the ministries that apparently they were offered and the deputy ministry positions they were offered as well. Joe is here, says, settle back in home yet? It's been a very busy trip to South Africa. Indeed, it has been a very busy trip to South Africa, meeting all the wonderful South Africans, interacting with public figures, having meet and greets, meeting people in private, being recognized everywhere I went. It's absolutely amazing, not to mention dealing with the hate wankers as well. There's a handful of those out there. Galloping Granny's back. It's been a while. Welcome from Howitt, Galloping Granny. Vilma Erasmus, Drop in a Bucket, James Bowie, Dylan Combrick, one of the usual suspects right there. Teresa, another usual suspect, Smee again. Welcome to you, Vilma Erasmus. George Steinberg from none other than Heckport, which again begs the question, Afrikaans speakers, why is it Heckport, but it's Wope What is wope? Well, I actually sound like Joe Black. What is wope? Yes, how can it be wope when it's spelled with an H, yet it's heckport? Heck, wope. That sounds like a W. This sounds like an H. I'm just saying. Loudy money in from Howard. Paulie, hello to you. Vilma Erasmus, Fleshin, Val Cooper. Leon's back. Elsa Bodenhorst, welcome to you. And then Garrett Gillich, always here. Clive Street, Chris Ehlers, Emil Therrett. And who else? Sedgefield's back. What is he saying? Tightrope, Cyril's around us. Yeah, Cyril's in a little bit of trouble here. Kanya, I always have to look, make sure I get it correct. Kanya Kwezi Gienu. What's the question mark, brother? What's the question mark? I'm here. And you don't like the music or you're puzzled by the music. That is, of course, Giselle with Pleke and Dizon, A Place in the Sun for you and me. Mark Sayers, welcome to you. And who else? Jan Filions here. Ruvani Freibus is back again. And, okay, you got it, Kanye Quay. Okay, and then Pizza Times, hello to you. And Pip Jacobs, Sue Walsh, fleshing in from the 15-minute city of Oxford in the United Kingdom. LL Entertainment, Helen Zilla's a problem. Yeah, a lot of people are problems, LL Entertainment. Be more specific. You can say that all day you want, but it really doesn't mean anything unless you give us some context. I got a little beard out of place there, trying to sort it out. Did a little beard trimming and mustache. This walrus mustache was down to my bottom lip today. In order not to eat my mustache, I had to trim it. That's right. Mug and Bean. There you go, folks. Who else we got here in the conversation? You know, it's noontime here on the East Coast, but it's early evening in South Africa. The sun going down at this hour or already down. And wow, just a day later, I'm experiencing sunshine at this hour. By the way, my solar panels have generated over 1 megawatt of electricity in the month of June. Gosh, that's more than Eskom. Gabriel, welcome in from the Schweiz. Yes, from Switzerland. Sean Folshank. Mug and Me muffins are undoubtedly contraband, much like Bilton. Tilted, welcome to you. Helen Risch, welcome back. Chris Breeze here. That was a lovely song. You're very welcome. That's from Giselle. People need to know more about her music. She's a lovely performer. Giselle, of course, suffering from the big C, suffering from cancer this past year, making a recovery. And her music is amazing. Wendy Schultz, welcome to you. PK's back. Okay. Jean-Pierre Bosch, emotional manipulation over the mass was always how they control the public action, justifying the corrupt public officials, knee-jerk reaction held. Wow, that's a lot to take in there, Jean, but thank you very much for that. And who else we got here? Hendo's back, worried about him. Patrick Vianella, one of the original Kaiser Sose suspects on the program. Good to see you again, Patrick. Dusty's back. Hey, Dusty. And, Kanya Kweza Genu says, Plekend is on. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Dusty Light Rain is back. Hey, Light Rain. Eric is here saying hello to everybody. Hannes Bornman, I think all these leaked letters are fake. You think they very may well be the case, but I'll tell you what, the media is really opening itself up for a lot of scrutiny in South Africa. I mean, it's always open to scrutiny with lots of fake media, fake nonsense for broadcasting, but look what's happened in the past several days. The IOL ran a story claiming that Ronaldo Khus is a racist based on an altered video, which they failed to tell the public was an altered video. Then they claim that they're being attacked by people without presenting any evidence. Again, I came to their defense. No one should be making threats against anyone, especially a media outlet. No threats. That's not acceptable. That's a crime. And people who do that should be prosecuted. And no one should be doing it. So I've come out and defended IOL. But of course, they've offered no evidence whatsoever of anyone calling them names, attacking them, threatening them. They claim that they've been threatened. And that story was buried very quickly after it came out. I guess they were looking for sympathy. But they keep running stories and they keep upping the ante. They talk about Andile and his comments that are accused of being racist, but then they attack Ronaldo in the same article, which is unrelated to Andile's comments from 2016. It is beyond, it's gobsmacking. It's beyond comprehension. The misbehavior, the malfeasance of media in South Africa, when they are subject to lawsuits for printing libel, they really, really better be careful. And the fake letters or the letters theme is another one. News 24 and IOL both purportedly having inside information from officials in the know who are not allowed to comment. Well, then why are they commenting? It's right now, it's a get you, who's got the next story sort of thing. And that's what it's all about. It's about sensationalism. It's about alarming the public, just like in America. The same thing is happening here. Just like in Germany, where the government is going after people who criticize rapists. A woman sent to prison for telling a rapist he should be ashamed of his behavior in raping a 14, 15-year-old girl, gang raping her in a park. These are criminal alien invaders who have no business in Germany, who are already criminals by violating Germany's sovereignty and the European Union Schengen zone sovereignty and settling in Germany. Tyler Dugan, thank you for subscribing. I know you've been subscribed before. You must have been unsubscribed by the PooTube. Thank you for sticking with us and resubscribing. You know, unbelievable. A German woman sentenced to prison as a criminal for free speech. The world is upside down, ladies and gentlemen. This shall not be tolerated. If governments continue to oppress the citizens in this fashion, there will be a pushback. And while I oppose violence, they are pushing people into a corner, and that's what they're looking for. It's sad and tragic. You must be so lost in time back in the U.S. No, I'm okay. Last night I went to bed at 11 and woke up at 2 and then went back to sleep. Got up at, time to get up, 5 or 7, I think it was. Yeah, so I think it was around just before 7. I think it was maybe 5 hours straight of sleep because I was supposed to do an interview today. But the interview, we decided we had enough material to make a 50-minute interview. Why make it longer? It doesn't really add to it. So we cut that out, and I didn't do it today. Jacques Couture, what will happen if the ANC do not decide on DA demands? Well, the DA could leave the GNU, the Government of National Unity, which is what I've said before. At the moment, that would leave the GNU short of a ruling coalition. But they could easily get Musi Maimani. They could easily get Musi Maimani to join the crowd. Speaking of Musi Maimani, folks, in case you missed your chance to vote on May 29th, Musi, just like the Depression-era United States Democrats offering a chicken in every pot, Musi offered a job in every home. Vote BOSA on May 29th. Build one South Africa with Musi Maimani. Now, where are these jobs coming from that Musi offered? A job in every home. There's a little QR code if you want to scan. Let me put that up closer. Where is Musi getting these jobs from that he's offering to the public? I just find that fascinating, to say the very least. But there you go. So Musi Maimani had your chance. And look, if Musi wasn't your cup of tea, you know, you could always go for Action SA, the 1.6% party of Herman Mashaba. Here you go. This obviously didn't work very well. Slegs Aski Sal Sa Ruk. I think I butchered that. But Action SA asking you for vote. Choose Action SA on May 29th. Yeah, Mr. Fix-It, Herman Mashaba's party, which garnered 1.6% of the electorate in South Africa, the 58% who bothered to show up of the 27 million registered voters. Of course, that's just a fraction of the 43 million eligible voters. Hey, here he is, Mr. Fix-It himself, Herman Mashaba. There you go. He's a decent guy, although his comments on social media in the wake of the Ronaldo Khos story have been a bit disappointing without knowing the facts. Herman Mashaba, Mr. Fix-It right there. There you go, folks. You want to vote for Herman? Although it's too late. You've already, I mean, if you're in Pennsylvania, you'd probably still be allowed to vote after the election. Of course, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, the captured court here, allows people to mail in their ballots long after the election's over to change the outcome. Just saying. And then finally, if those parties don't appeal to you, BOSA or Action SA, that would be the 2 seats in Parliament, BOSA, the 1.6% of the vote, Action SA, or 6 seats, 4 seats, something like that in Parliament. Then you could always vote for the 39-seat Economic Freedom Fighters and our hero, Julius Malema. Juju. Yeah. Yes, kill the tech companies. Wait, that's not the quite verbiage he sings. He sings something else. I love the beret with the extremely high forehead. There you go. Juju. You can vote for Juju on May 29th. Ladies and gentlemen, May 29th is come and gone. If you haven't voted, you're SOL. That would be crap out of luck for those who don't know that phrase. Eat your mustache sounds like a funny phrase, but I can imagine what it means. Exactly. Right. Sedgefield is here. Hendo Chris Ehlers. Crap mystifies. Exactly. Answer Rose did a good video. Yes, he did, Leon. Again, he had time to do that. I was busy traveling and haven't done it. I'll do one eventually, but I'm busy being attacked by hate wankers who are accusing me of being a lawyer in defense of Ronaldo. Nope. Just a news reporter giving analysis and cogent commentary on that situation. Anyway. But the person doing that is just a slanderous, libelous little troll who has no life and so sad and pathetic and attacking me. By the way, when I told the person that what they're doing is libel, I threatened to sue. I haven't threatened to sue anybody. You guys are idiots that believe that nonsense. No one's ever made any threat. But these people have very thin skins and very pathetic human beings they are. Curtis, the South African justice system is as useful as hemorrhoids. Yeah, apparently the American one as well these days. What in the world is happening in the world? Well, Joe, the world is upside down. It's sideways. It's twisted inside out. And it's time for a flight on Elon Musk Starship to Mars because we can restart there. This is crazy. It is happening all over the world. It's correct. Does the president live in Cape Town? Yes, the president has a residence in Cape Town as well as in Pretoria. My poor clock. What's that all about? All right. Let's get back. More chat here. We're going to get on to news here shortly. Where's Musi? Where's Juju? Where's the Gemsbok? Well, the Gemsbok is not up, but we do have Juju. We do have Musi. Poster reveal. They are history now. Put in the archives. Correct. Not sure if Shaps had a pathology department. I don't think they do anymore. South African posters in the U.S. says, Pip Jacobs, your time zone must be a bit twisted. No, I'm fine, Dylan. I'm fine. Paulie says, I hope the DA does walk away if they don't get what they agreed upon. Yeah, well, they should. They should. And let the government collapse later on. Then the NC will have to come back and have to give them what they asked for. Yep. No, the DA should stand up for what's right here. Chris Hale's looking for pushback. Nothing to lose, but everything to gain for those left behind. Okay. Right. Our Butts says, Chris, do you agree that the DA is shifting its goalposts as claimed by our post? No, I don't. But then I have no information other than what's been publicly shared. It doesn't appear. We've heard that, I think the media is shifting the goalposts. The media has reported multiple times. Number one, the DA demanded 6 posts, demanded 7 posts, demanded 9 posts, demanded 11 posts. The DA's claims are ridiculous. These leaked statements. You can't trust members of government who can't keep the story straight. They can't keep the story straight. Nobody, now let's be clear about this. When it comes to politics and diplomacy, information is often leaked to the public. In other words, it's an authorized disclosure disguised as an unauthorized disclosure. So what will happen is a senior political figure of a party will tell an official to speak to the media and tell them that this is not authorized. I can't tell you this. But now if that's happening, that's a negotiating tactic. It's a slimy negotiating tactic, but it does happen. However, if members of the government are leaking this information intentionally to damage their opponents, well, that is also underhanded. So, right. We'll see what happens. What else you got? Drop in the bucks, not with the ANC still in charge of trade and industry. Yep. So, yeah, I don't think the DA is shifting the goalposts. I just think the DA has asked for things, and now the ANC is shifting it, probably because of pressure they're getting from the multitude of parties coming in that have virtually no say, like Al Jamaa. Right on the back of the poster is the results. I should do that. Land jobs, no to DA, low jetting. Okay. Fleshman says Germany's pushing to the right now, and stupid things like that will push them further down the road. Yes, it will. I heard YouTubers can't stream the president's debate in U.S. CNN sent out some threats. Yes, CNN is a corrupt, dishonest propaganda outlet that has been failing financially for years. And they are terrified that people will actually report genuinely. I have to look at this. I haven't seen the threats, but I only have a few hours to figure this out before tonight because I plan to comment on that. They cannot stop me from commenting. YouTube, however, can. YouTube can censor and change its community standards without notifying content creators. Of course, they've done that many times. If I cover the debate, it will not be on this channel, folks. It will be on @RealChrisWyatt or on Paladin Warrior. Yeah, where I can afford to take a strike. All right, communist sucks. They do suck. Now, ladies here, welcome you. And then Cameron Nichols says, do you think the DA will or will both parties put everything aside and agree? Listen, Cameron, there's a lot at stake here. The ANC is wildly unpopular. They have collapsed. They have lost 4 million votes. Put this in mind. They've never gotten 12 million, or they got most of around 12 million. But they've lost 1/3 of their peak from 20-some years ago. They have lost 40% of their vote from the last election. 40%. Let's put that in contrast. 40% of the people who voted for them last time didn't vote for them this time. And they didn't all go to EFF because EFF is smaller. They didn't go to MK. MK only got a portion of those votes. So they are unpopular. They're about as popular in South Africa as HIV or syphilis. That's the ANC today. That's a statement of fact, folks. They are unpopular. And they run the risk of the whole thing collapsing around them. I mean, quite frankly, if people get bent out of shape, it's unlikely, highly unlikely, but the other parties that have 50% 60% of the vote could come together. And, everybody could join the coalition except the EFF and the ANC, and they could rule. Man, think about that. It's not going to happen. But every party, including MK and the DA, minus the EFF and the ANC, could rule with a 51%. Not going to happen. But, the ANC is not in a power position. That's why this is taking so long. Right. Gabriel, what's this? No online shopping for me because of the Rand slide. Well, that sucks, Pip. Sorry to hear that. Erica, welcome to you. Patrick says 1796. Now it's 1847. Don't believe much has happened in dollars week. Market's getting impatient. They are getting impatient. That's correct. Also, Zuma was funded by Russia. Lots of people say that, but I have no evidence of it. And Leon says, I know this is not germane. Does anyone know how Fiona apparently as well. She commented in my social media groups. She was in poor shape. Marilyn says on another subject, we've been without water all day. Again, another day. Seems to be widespread. Not a word about restoration will be. It's going to be several days. And this is, and there should be water trucks coming in the neighborhoods, but they're not because the corrupt, incompetent, inefficient, useless administration of the city of Johannesburg is leaving people out there. D. Barham, welcome to you. Tyler says Patriot assailants are the ones leaking it. Probably Gate and probably leaked something. No, I have no evidence that Gate McKenzie's doing anything against this government. Gayton, look, I mean, I'm not a fan of Gayton. I'm also not someone that pounds him. I simply try to report things as best I can about Gate McKenzie. Gate McKenzie is now the Honorable Gate McKenzie. He's successfully gotten from 0 seats in Parliament to 9. Impressive. 2% of the electorate, 2.06%, so well done. Chaco's back. Oh, you missed a whole lot other than Giselle's Plekken Duzon and my opening statement about the Supreme Court in the United States and its decision. Let's see what else. Smee says, okay. PK says, if that happens, ANC, MK, EFF join, then the RAM will, the country will collapse. There's no doubt about that. The foreign direct investment will flee the shores of South Africa. Volkswagen's patience, Mercedes' patience, Toyota's patience with South Africa will collapse. It will just disappear. Yep. Fortunately, we have made plans to store water in my neighborhood with a borehole has offered to help. Well, that's very kind, Marilyn. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad I'm not there because I would feel I'd be putting you out by using water for showers as I shower daily. And yeah, so you don't have that drain of me being on the site. Also my laundry, which I had done when I was in Marilyn's house. So that's a burden you don't have to deal with my absence. Thank you for that. Hannes says the Kremlin might be many things, but I highly doubt they'll back such an incompetent idiot like Zuma. Yeah, I don't know why people say that. It seems much more plausible that the ANC is getting funding from Tehran than Russia backing Zuma. Why would they back Zuma? They back the ANC. Yes, after the brief surge of the rand when the government of national unity was announced, now it's backsliding. Not a surprise. North Korea is apparently sending troops to Ukraine. What? I haven't seen that anywhere. How long until South sends troops to Gaza? No. First off, how is South... Okay, Tyler. Okay. Let me address that, okay? I'm not making fun of your statement, but let me just put that. How exactly is the South African National Defense Force going to send troops to Gaza? With the South African Air Force? with Ukrainian pilots? With Russian pilots? Wait. Oh, gosh. With South African Airways? How would they get there? Would they put them on the SS Drakensberg and float them up to the Mediterranean? How would the SANDF get to Gaza? And where exactly would they go? There's no place that hasn't been bombed. They'll use the gravy train. That's funny, man. Is Kuban here? I didn't see Kuban. Justin, welcome, Justin. I see you now, too. Hello. Come on, guys. Army is lacking equipment and training. It's lacking a lot of things. Readiness is another issue for them. But yeah, they wouldn't. It's just not possible. Chris says they back Zuma because he has large following of zombies. Well, I don't know about that. South African C-47 paratroop drops would be likely Normandy all over again. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, Normandy. Instead of 30,000, 36,000 paratroopers, there'll be 36 paratroopers. With what plane or ship exactly? I don't know. South African National Defense Force is not getting to Gaza, even if they plan to. Meanwhile, Naledi Pandor, Danelle needs to be fixed. Yeah, a lot of things need to be fixed. All right, 209 people currently here. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. ANC is going to come back strong in 2026 and 2029 because the people who didn't vote don't like ANC being down. They didn't vote because they thought ANC will always win. No, LL Entertainment, we differ in our analysis. The reason the ANC lost so many votes is not because people thought the ANC would win. It's because they are angry with the ANC. Now, the ANC could recover in 2029. They could if they still exist in 2029. I think they'll still exist. They could recover by going to coalition and blaming failures on the coalition partners. But yeah, they lost not because people thought they were going to win, but because people are angry and they voted by not voting. Cape Town guy is back. Kurtz Verhoeven is here. Yonti Fire says, if they use a gravy train, I hope they have no load shedding. Galloping Granny says the government national unity election of office bearers has been so stressful waiting. Wonder what these other countries manage it. Well, Galloping Granny, let me just put this in perspective. For all the South Africans currently here, and that's a lot of the 217 people currently watching the program, be sure to hit the like button. Come on. That's not hard.
That was easy.
Yeah, make it happen. Yeah, boy. Yeah, for all the South Africans who are here, let me tell you, relax. What liberty-sapping regulations, laws, policies have come out from the government of the national unity since its formation 3 weeks ago? Can somebody tell me which laws have oppressed you? Well, there have been none. So which cabinet minister has misused government appropriations to fly on this vacation, to diddle these kids here, to steal from you, to cause accidents with their blue light escorts? Wait. Oh, no cabinet ministers, because there are none. Ladies and gentlemen, With a dysfunctional, corrupt government that's incompetent, not having a government, not having ministers is actually working in your favor. And if you're in Hauteng and you're in Johannesburg and Northcliffe or Sandton and you have no water, it's not because the national government's dysfunctional. That's a local government responsibility. And those idiots in Johannesburg City Council have been failing you for years. So that has nothing to do with what's going on. So I tell you that not having a government of national unity, not having a coalition ruling the country, not having a cabinet comprised of more than one person, Cyril Ramaphosa, actually not hurting you. You are in cruise control. Ladies and gentlemen, the South African government is now in cruise control. Let's go ahead and get a hold of that. Get a hold of we got the steering column here. There's a little hiccup there. We hit a pothole. But other than pothole, things are pretty smooth in South Africa. So there you go, folks. Relax. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Right. Back to the comments here. Where's it at here? Hendo, there. Okay. More likely there will be a new world order government. You can see it with the push for bank control cryptocurrencies. Yes, that's going on. Even Trump is talking about that. Hannes says the ANC will take a bashing because they will be without Ramaphosa. Yep. Pete's Time said there's no one left after Cyril. Paul Mashatile is basically null. Fix. It's not presidential material. Guaidia is way too old. Maybe the maid vacuum cleaner. Exactly. Well, that's what happens when you don't train people. Every job I had in the Army, I always trained my subordinates to replace me because I'm not full of myself. I know that I'm replaceable. And people can do the job. Can they do it as well? That's a question. And they can do it as well if you train, mentor them to replace you. I mean, it's a pretty simple equation for me. I mean, as a soldier, you go into combat, leaders get killed. Someone needs to step up and replace that leader, not after a period of training, not after a period of coaching, immediately. So your subordinates must be ready to advance immediately. That is your job. Now, we all know that realistically, subordinates cannot replace you immediately because they have to develop. But if you don't develop them, like the ANC, they'll never rise to the occasion. So that's what a true leader does. A true leader develops subordinates. They have a vision. They look long-term, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. Where will we be? What will this be? That's what a true leader does. They treat everyone equally and fair, and they give everyone a fair shot to succeed. That's what a leader does. That's what the world lacks right now. Show me the leaders out there. You could take Trump as a leader. I'll accept that. But how many other leaders are actually out there on the global scene? Very few. Very few. What's my take on Kenyans landing in Haiti and the riots in Kenya? Well, the Kenyans landing in Haiti has been a long-term development. This was agreed to many, many, many moons ago, and the Kenyans were supposed to send police there, but Kenyan activist groups tried to stop it, and eventually the Kenyan Supreme Court said it was legitimate and let them go. So they'll be part of a 2,500 person, man, woman police contingent meant to restore order to Haiti. That's not going to happen. The only way you deal with the criminal gangs is you send troops in. Troops, not 2,500 law enforcement officers, troops. And you hunt down these criminals. And then you deal with them. That's the only way to do it. It's going to take a lot more than 2,500 police officers to restore Haiti. The gangs control Haiti, not the government. And 2,500 officers not going to do it. That's my take on that. And I feel bad for the Kenyan police because they're in an untenable position and they will suffer casualties unnecessarily. Right. Tyler says, rename the government GNW Government National Waiting. That's good. Patrick, I believe MK will disintegrate within 5 years. Well, MK will disintegrate the moment that Jacob Zuma is no longer there. If KZN voters mainly go to IFP, I say the ANC is dead, like the recent by-election in Zumba. Yeah, that's a fair analysis, Patrick. Jaunty, with all the small parties in the government, the ANC is trying to get rid of the ANC. Well, Jaunty, if you watch my videos, and in fact, if Hendo or somebody could put it up there, you will see that I made a question the other day. I'd make a prediction. I pointed out when I was in Hermanus, in fact, I'll find it myself rather than wait for one of my moderators to do it. I pointed that out in Hermanus, that that's a possibility. And I said, do Musi Maimani and Bosa hold the fate of the government of national unity in their hands? And that's this link here. So I'm going to put this one up for folks. That was from Hermanus. In fact, let me just play that one for a few seconds. It was speculation, but sometimes speculation is okay. So let me just go ahead and get back to that. All right, and I'll start that in a second here. I don't want it to start automatically on me, so let me get back over here. And we want to get into the chat, and I'm going to post that. So there you go. Paste. There you go. 223 people currently here. Thank you for that. Do we hit a peak? What did we hit a peak at? 228. Okay. That's a link. You can open that up another tab, save it for later. That was my speculation. I'll just play a few seconds. Oops. Got gnats in here. Good Lord. Got a gnat there. You're flying at me. Right. Let me get this one up on the full screen. Okay. And then we're going to put this up. Just a little few seconds of it. This is what I said in Hermanus on Monday. So, folks, while we wait for the cabinet of South Africa to be announced, I realized something earlier. I started thinking about the numbers, and there appears to be some holdups with the government of national unity and the cabinet. And what's really going on here? Well, maybe the following. This is just a theory, not claiming it's fact, but think about this for a second. The government of national unity now comprises 10 political parties of the 18 who won seats in parliament in South Africa. 10 political parties. Any coalition with that many parties is going to be difficult to hold together. But here's the thing. The Democratic Alliance increased their number of seats in parliament from 84 to 87, and the current composition of the 10 parties is 287 of the 400 seats in parliament. Stick with me for a moment. 287. If the DA is forced out of the coalition, or if they leave it, that takes it down to 200. So it doesn't give the government of national unity a ruling coalition. However, one party sits on the outside that could be the kingmaker here. Will Mmusi Maimane and Build One South Africa be the reason that the Democratic Alliance leaves the government of national unity or is booted out of it? I'm not making a prediction, but think. There you go. That's what I said on Monday. I love the surf in the background. That was pretty cool. I'm glad that I did that. So, yeah, so there's a possibility. So, Zonti Flyer, I've already discussed this possibility. Thank you for sharing that. Ireland positions just sold the Irish people EU open border policy will bankrupt Ireland. Yeah, Ireland is gone, folks. 22% of the population is foreign, and vast majority of those people have no obligation or desire to uphold Western civilization standards. They want to slice the clitoris off their daughters who are prepubescent. They want to beat their spouses. They want to impose Sharia law. They want to violate Ireland's norms. And 22% of the population is amongst that group. And that's pretty sad. Yep, PK says South Africa's on autopilot, which is what I'm saying. ANC only care about stealing tax funds, says James Bowie. No, they care about self-aggrandizement too. So there you go. We have a problem. If the ANC cannot hash out a deal and get it sorted with the DA, then a possible coalition be on the books. That will be the end. No, it's not going to happen. Look, the ANC does not want a coalition with MK. Does not want a coalition with the EFF. You know, the EFF is gone, ladies and gentlemen. They are not even present in anything. They are silent, and it's nice to see Julius Malema not having anything to say. Yeah, I got the John Tungay video on here as well, for people who missed it. Debbie says Hermanus is her favorite. Ulrich Fenter's back. Welcome to Ulrich. And Garrett, Good Bar Benny. South African people are definitely having trouble going forward. The same thing happened in many Marxist socialist regimes. Albania, yes, dropping a buck. I wonder how many paper trails have been shredded. Yeah, that's a good question. The current parties will still have under 51%. Not only the DA will leave, then we will be back at square one, says PK. Nope. If the BOSA party joins the current group, makes another party, and the DA leaves, that gives them 201 votes, and they have enough, but it won't last. What else? Tyler says the Wales and Hermanus have now been replaced by expelled ANC members making way up the coast to join MK. KZN. That's funny. Ireland's, yes, the Irish have been protesting, but the media doesn't cover it. Much like the farm protest in the Netherlands and in Germany, the corrupt legacy media refuses to cover the populist revolt taking place. Yeah. So, Seamus, Ireland is forked. Yes, it is. Ramasova won't give DA any judicial. No, I told you I said they wouldn't give the cluster. So hang on, folks. We're going to get to those positions in just a minute. Let me get through the chat. We're almost there, and I'm going to start telling you the news, including what's going on with the coalition and the positions that the DA purportedly was promised. All right. So Hannah says, I don't feel bad for Ireland, mostly because they keep thinking they're number one rugby nation. Justin says, doubt that Mmusi will team up with the ANC. Well, the DA is teaming up with the ANC. Freedom Front Plus will also leave, maybe UDM. If BOSA comes in, or if you're saying if the DA leaves. Yeah, if the DA leaves, I don't know. The UDM and General Holomisa have been all over the place. I have no idea what they're up to. They joined the Progressive Caucus, then they've left it. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, you're right. Other parties might leave if the DA leaves, but they might not. So anyway, there you have it. Okay, now let's get to the news. We've been promising this for some time, and we don't want people to leave. 225 viewers currently here, and we're going to get to it. So very quickly, that is not what I'm looking for. How did you get over there? I'm looking for this. And there it is. Okay, here we go. News from around the world. Big focus on South Africa, but we got other stuff to cover as well. So first off, out of the gate, we are in a perilous state. Ooh, South African foundations claim that South Africa is in a perilous state. I disagree. I think you're in a great position right now. People need to calm down. The Thabo Mbeki Foundation calls for a national dialogue to unite the nation. Now, this, in my view, is an effort to undermine the election. This is an effort, a anti-democratic effort by this group and by other parties in the Progressive Caucus to undermine democratic elections. They want a national dialogue of all 18 parties, not a coalition of willing participants. They want to dole out the election results based on their desires. They want to ignore the election that took place. This is dangerous. The Thabo Mbeki Foundation, in joint efforts with other foundations, mainly those founded by struggle heroes, including the Ahmed Kathrada, Steve Biko, and Robert Sobukwe, and Oliver Tambo foundations, through a national dialogue, are calling on South Africa to unite to address matters affecting the nation. Now, these groups did not call for a national dialogue before the May 29th elections. All the stuff they're complaining about was present before and is not a consequence of a government of national unity, which has taken no action thus far. So this is illegitimate. It's an anti-democratic effort to undermine governance in South Africa. We, the foundations that are signatories here too, founded on the legacies of eminent South African freedom fighters whose values and example laid the foundation for building non-racial, sure, non-sexist, egalitarian, you're giving people jobs and money based on skin pigmentation. There's no egalitarian in that. And democratic society call upon the people of South Africa to join in a national dialogue to reorient the direction of our nation. Now, where was the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, the Steve Biko Foundation, the Robert Sobukwe Foundation? Where were they for the past 5 years? Why didn't they call for this 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago? Because they're frauds. They're dishonest. They're disingenuous. Yep. Reading a statement on behalf of the foundation's Nkosinathi Biko from the Biko Foundation told the media that the purpose of the national dialogue was to develop a common vision and collectively intervene to bolster substantive democracy and reorient the nation to their deferred dream. What deferred dream? Biko said the country had found itself on a dangerous, uncertain path, the directionless corruption of the body politic that has led to the current state and paralysis, social, economic, political, and governance spheres, and national despair. And I agree 100%. Yay, Mr. Biko, you are correct. Your dad was right. You were right. But where were you on April 29th, March 29th, February 29th? Yeah, we had a 29th in February this year. Or the 29th in January. You were nowhere. You said nothing. This is not about a national dialogue. This is about undermining the elections that just took place. Make no mistake. What analyst is telling you that? Are any? You tell me, what analysts in South Africa, what of the legacy media are telling you? Instead, they're reporting on this as if it matters. A national dialogue. What a crock of horse manure. What a load of poppycock. What a bunch of cock. Wow. Unbelievable. The current perilous state of economic growth, coupled with widespread crime and corruption, poverty, gross inequality, and intractable unemployment, have earned our nation a dishonorable place on many global indices. Correct. But it didn't happen since May 29th. It happened for the past 15, 20 years. But the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, the Steve Biko Foundation, the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, and the Robert Sobukwe Foundation were nowhere to be found, silent on this. This, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, is a oblique effort to undermine the democratic elections of South Africa that just occurred on May 29th. Yes, that is what is going on here. The government of national unity is on knife's edge. Oh, run for the hills, folks. Run away. Oh, it's just a flesh wound. It's just a flesh wound, folks. The Times Live says the government of national unity is on knife's edge. Oh, sit by your seats. Oh, it's scary, folks. Oh, what are we going to do? Oh, I know. We'll get help from the EFF. They'll save us. No, if it's not EFF, we'll get Mr. Fix-It. Herman Mashaba will solve all of our problems. Well, a knife's edge. Why is South Africa's democracy on knife's edge? According to Times Live. Let's look and see. The president's decision to withdraw an offer to give the DA the Ministry of Trade and Industry irks party leadership and negotiators. The government and national unity deal on knife's edge as Ramaphosa replaces trade and industry with tourism. I told you. What did I say? I said the DA was going to be offered stupid stuff like tourism. Bingo. Not the things that matter like finance, trade, public enterprises. No, we can't give that to the Democratic Alliance because then they'll unravel and expose the corruption of the ANC. Yes, well, the government of national unity talks hit yet another deadlock as ANC's revised cabinet offer riles the Democratic Alliance. Whoa. The Daily Maverick reports with bated breath. Vhlani Ludidi. In the latest development in South Africa's political landscape, ANC and the DA have yet to reconcile their differences over cabinet positions. The ANC should have plan B if the DA pulls out. Now it looks like they had a private deal before the discussions of the GNU. We're waiting for them to come back to us, and it must be noted that the GNU is not yet established. It's only a statement of intent. The South African Communist Party has accused today, or yesterday, the DA of trying to overshadow the ANC. Ladies and gentlemen, a Dasi can overshadow the ANC. Let me just be very clear about that. Iraq Hyrix can overshadow the DA, or the ANC, not the DA, maybe the DA too. The ANC has been overshadowed by itself. Well, folks, I mean, look, it doesn't take much to overshadow the ANC. It really does not. It is not even remotely a challenge here. Why is this thing out of date here? I'm looking for something here. Oh, I'm a little further back. I want to find this very quickly here. I'm going to show you what overshadows. Here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all it takes to overshadow the ANC in government. You ready for this? There you go. This poor little, there's a Dasi right there. There you go. That's what overshadows right there. That overshadows the ANC. It doesn't take the DA to do it. That cute little rock hyrax, the distant relative of the elephant, overshadows the ANC, not the DA. What a joke by the irrelevant, incompetent, useless South African Communist Party. Yes. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. So the discussion is about what's going on here. So the cabinet is on shaky ground, says Business Tech. Woo! Terrifying, shaky ground. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. Well, the ANC apparently has retracted its offer of the trade industry ministry, the useless ministry that was led by Ibrahim Patel, the minister of no trade. Cabinet update why the GNU negotiations are on shaky ground. It's been over a week since Ramaphosa was sworn in as president, and he still doesn't have a cabinet. Negotiation spats between the two largest parties, ANC and DA, have been playing out in the public arena as people disclose and leak information. Unbelievable. The initial offer, the ANC, the two parties got the negotiating table, and the DA was offered 6 cabinet minister posts and 7 deputies, including the trade and industry portfolio the DA had been eyeing. The Department of Trade, Industry, and Competition is considered a key portfolio in the economic cluster. It's understood that the initial concession by the ANC to offer trade was to get the DA to back down from its demands for the deputy president and minister presidency positions. Well, now they've backed out. The ANC has retracted that offer, according to what is being said. Now, News 24 breathlessly reports that this is all in trouble. The Democratic Alliance will tell Ramaphosa the deal is off unless he sticks to the original offer. John, what's happening? John, tell us what's going on. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what's this? Oh, I'm getting a phone call here. Hang on. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, you're not serious. No, I mean, I've only ever had a chance to interview him once, and he wasn't happy with me that time at the multi-party charter. Okay, all right, thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. John Steenhuisen is on the phone. Just a second here. Okay, hang on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but, I mean, so you got nothing in the security cluster. I mean, the ANC still controls the police, the military, justice, or as we call it in South Africa, Department of Injustice, prisons, they control everything. So, oh, you didn't want the security cluster. Oh, I see. You just want it. Trade. Okay. And what are you getting? Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the eminent John Steenhuisen, the leader of the Democratic Alliance, the official opposition, now part of the Government of National Unity that doesn't exist. John Steenhuisen telling us unofficially that what they're going to get in return is a fleet of BMW 735s. Woo! Oh, yeah. Anyway, that's entertaining. I had this list of all the places they were supposed to get. Where's it at? Oh, here it is. Yeah, okay. Here we go. So I've got that. So that's what Steenhuisen has to say. Ladies and gentlemen, that was satire. For those who don't catch that, for the copyright thieving hate wankers who will steal my content and play it out of context, which is what they're wont to do, remember that was satire. The IOL, the Independent Line, the publication that keeps calling Ronaldo a racist with no evidence whatsoever and does not tell the public that they played an altered video. The IOL, they're reporting that John Steenhuisen is also not happy. He said the DA reveals negotiated cabinet positions as a wrangle over the trade industry. So, recent communications between Ramaphosa and John Steenhuisen have outlined the party's revised stance on cabinet positions. According to Steenhuisen, the DA has been offered 6 cabinet portfolios. You ready for it, folks? Here are the cabinet portfolios that they've been offered. You ready? This is according to the DA's leader, an elite memo. Home affairs. Basic education. Good. Trade, industry, and competition. Excellent. Public works and infrastructure. Excellent. Communications and digital technologies. The DA. We'll see. Forestry, fisheries, and the environment, useless, unless they're worried about farming. Yeah. So they've been offered deputy ministerial positions with finance, which is what they should have gotten outright, and energy and electricity, which shouldn't even be a ministry. Small business development, that's a good one, and one other which has not been determined. So there you have it. Those are the cabinet positions apparently on offer to the Democratic Alliance from the ANC. Yeah. By the way, we were promised, ladies and gentlemen, that we would be given the Government of National Unity Agreement. Remember that? When the statement of intent was signed by the ANC-DA, 3 weeks ago? It has not been revealed publicly yet. We're still waiting for it. We don't even know what these other parties signed up for. Meanwhile, apparently now the African National Congress is in discussions with MK and the Economic Freedom Fighters. Can you believe it? They're in talks, continue with the DA, but according to the Daily Maverick, they're also negotiating with the EFF and MK. That's absolutely insane. While negotiations around the Government of National Unity continue, the ANC in Hauteng has been exploring a deal with the EFF and MK. That's in Hauteng, not at the national level. So, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Australia apparently is the destination. The fascist government of Australia in Canberra, which imprisons law-abiding Australian citizens, is the place where South Africans are going, apparently, for 6-7-figure incomes. Australia tapping skilled South Africans to fill jobs, paying up to 3.6 million rand. That's some nice coin there. Yep, health professionals, IT professionals, design, engineering, education, legal, social welfare, and business human resource marketing professionals. Latest government statistics show that 206,730 South African-born people were living in Australia, making their South African-born population the seventh largest migrant community in the country. Yes, 206,000, and a handful of them live in Perth, the West. The African National Congress has doubled down on the deployment in Parliament of Zizi Kodwa, the corruption accused. Former Minister Zizi Kodwa, swearing in as an MP, has raised eyebrows. He's charged with corruption and recently appeared in court, and he's supposed to be in the step-aside policy, which seems to be selected by the African National Congress, only when it suits them. Only when it suits them. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mabalula, in a memo to the party's National Executive Committee, members today sought to explain why Code was back in Parliament. Well, this ought to be entertaining. Why is the corruption accused refusing to follow the step-aside policy that's an ANC policy, not a government policy, back in Parliament? He said certain comrades were nominated to be ANC candidates in the 2024 national and provincial elections. They were not disqualified by the ANC Electoral Committee, and their nominations were tabled before the special extended NEC held on the 4th of March 2024. So, the guy's not supposed to be in government. But there's a lot of that going on. Meanwhile, everybody's upset about Ronaldo Khus. Please. Right. So, more news on South Africa. South Africa's new plug. You know that big 3-prong plug that you plug in the wall? It's like the size of a friggin', pear. Unbelievable. The largest electrical mains plug on the planet, even bigger than the UK. And that's impressive. It's apparently not the official standard. South African Bureau of Standards acting CEO Lungelo Ntobongwana has said that work is underway to make that hexagonal plug standard for the country's main socket. Officially called the SANS 164-2 and affectionately dubbed the ZA plug, ZA, or new plug, despite being decades old, the standard has been semi-mandatory for new buildings since 2018. Writing code amendments that introduced in 2016, Act in 2018 made it each electrical outlet in a new building must have at least one socket that can accommodate the ZA or the ZA plug. Those are big-ass plugs, man. I only carry 2 of them when I travel because it's just too much to cart around. Hauteng's Panyazi, the private army of the premier of Hauteng, is run into a road bump there. Apparently, they've hit a pothole in Hauteng, no pun intended. Hauteng EPWP traffic wardens contracts not expired, according to Panyazi Lusufi. Hauteng Premier Panyaza Lusufi is adamant that thousands of expanded public works program Green Army workers remain employed despite a letter informing them that their contracts end this week. Lusufi said yesterday a picture of the letter signed under the name of Acting Head of Agriculture, Rural Development and Environmental Department in Hauteng, Kuhilkani Amase, informed them they would end their contracts. Wow, this communique serves to remind you that regarding your contractual agreement that came to the end of May 31st, you were informed you will receive payment for the days worked during June. Well, are the Panyazi out of work? Who knows? A petition has been launched to save Andile, the man accused of racist comments in Parliament. But, So, Times Live breathlessly reports the petition launched to defend MK Party MP Andile Mkhtama after hate speech video resurfaces. Yep. He's been in the spotlight this week after he was sworn in as MK on Tuesday. The video from 5 years ago at an event in Potchefstroom has resurfaced, showing him saying, "For every life taken, we'll kill 5 white people." That's what he said. That's what he said. Yep. Now, the Change.org petition allows racist language, calling Elon Musk a racist, have joined the bandwagon of covertly encouraging attacks on the character of him, which has put his life in danger. His life is in danger? Seriously? This is hyperbole. And here's the petition, folks. This is the petition on Change.org. Notice that Change.org's most important feature is its rainbow-colored biopic little thing up here at the top. It says Change.org. Protect the Honorable Andile from persecution by racists. Really? You can sign a petition if you want there, folks. 7,800. Let's see if any more people signed it since I looked this up a couple hours ago. 7,800 said, well, 8,097. Woo, look at that. 8,097 clueless wonders signing a petition to protect this man. It means nothing. It's a Change.org petition. It means nothing. Meanwhile, Kenyan president's humbling shows the power of African youth. There's no power of African youth. It's just rioters. That's the problem here. Sorry, I'm getting scam phone calls. I got to keep hanging up over here. Events that led to Ruto to abandon his budget might in time be seen as a milestone moment, not only for Kenya, but also for the power of youth on the world's youngest continent. Through the potency of protests organized largely organically, a movement initiated by young people on social media has forced Africa's most internationally regarded leaders, to one of the most, to junk his flagship policy. And Kenya will suffer immensely from the lack of revenue coming in to the tax base. The Houthis are at it again, folks. A ship has been attacked in the Red Sea by Yemen's Houthis. A ship traveling through the Red Sea today reported being hit in an attack likely carried out by the rebel Houthi in Yemen. Authorities said the latest in the campaign targeting shipping over the Israel-Hamas war. I think it's time that ships begin targeting the Houthis on shore and start firing back. Thailand is now the destination for money laundering for the corrupt military coup that overthrew the democratically elected but thoroughly corrupt government of Aung San Suu Kyi in Myanmar. Yes, the banking destination as the military attacks ramp up. International banks are playing a significant role in the Myanmar military junta's ability to carry out its systemic and deadly assault on its own people, according to the United Nations report. Thai banks have now become the main source through which the Myanmar military is buying weapons and military supplies, including parts for their helicopter gunships used to support the 3-year civil war that has devastated the country and killed more than 5,000 civilians, while Joe Biden is asleep at the wheel. This happened 9 days after he became president in 2021, and Joe Biden has said virtually nothing and done nothing to sanction the illegal military coup in Myanmar, while thousands have died. Taiwan warns against traveling to communist China, and they're right. The raised travel warning, which follows a threat from Beijing to execute diehard Taiwan independence supporters, also applies to the Chinese-run cities of Hong Kong and Macau. So if you support Taiwan, they will execute you. Now, that's not a legitimate government. That's a fearful government. Taiwan's government raised its travel warning today, telling its citizens not to go unless absolutely necessary, following a threat from Beijing last week to execute those deemed diehard Taiwan independence supporters. Wow. Taiwan views democratically governed Taiwan as its own territory. Falsely. Last week, announcing new legal guidelines, China threatened to execute Taiwan independence separatists in extreme cases, and further ramping up the tensions that drew condemnation from Lai and his government as well as the United States. And I'll be very clear about this. I'll be very clear. If the communists listening in China, are you listening? Open up your ears. We'll be very clear. Taiwan is a sovereign nation. It is the legitimate government of mainland China under the Kuomintang of Chiang Kai-shek. The communists are not the legitimate rulers of China. I guess I can't go to China. I guess I can't go to China. Does that make me a diehard Taiwan independence supporter? Will I be executed by the Chinese communists? Another place I'll never travel. French far-right leader Bardella seeks to reassure voters. Look at this. They always take these pictures of the least complimentary as he's looking up from these evil eyes. Yep. So, far-right leader Jordan Bardella sought to reassure French voters, European partners, and international observers that his potential government would lead realistic and economic policies, not weaken France's voice abroad. Bardella, who will become prime minister if voters choose a majority in the National Rally's party candidates in the 2-round election on June 30th and July 7th, unveiled his program at a news conference. The Europeans are so terrified that their leftist liberty-suppressing agenda to impoverish Europeans and invade the continent with people who are not European, who don't share European values, who undermine legitimacy of culture and society in Europe. They're terrified that people will stop this invasion. They're terrified that people will restore liberty in Europe. They're terrified the taxes would be lowered so they can't fleece people. The leftists are losing control in the Netherlands, in France, in Germany. They've lost it in Hungary a long time ago, and they're losing it elsewhere. And they're terrified. And like a virus, they're fighting back with their friends in the media. Well, they're going to get help. Jens Stoltenberg will be leaving NATO, and he's going to be replaced by the leftist hate wanker. That's right. Mark Rutte. Yep. There you go. NATO allies appoint outgoing Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte as the next Secretary General. The alliance's soon-to-be former head hailed his successor as true transatlanticist, strong leader, and consensus builder. Yep, NATO allies on Wednesday selected outgoing Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte for the alliance's top job. Well, he's not really a leftist hate wanker, but he's a failed Prime Minister. His appointment to the Secretary General position was clear last week, and his only rival was the Hungarian President Klaus Iohannis stepping out of the running. Wow, look at that. Romania stepped out of the running. Ooh, my fan just kicked on. What's going on here? Download a new driver for my video card. Bolivia had a coup yesterday, folks. Did you see that? Did you catch that? Bolivia had a coup yesterday. Yep. And the Bolivian general has been arrested and accused of coup after a dramatic showdown with the president. Wow. Bolivian general has been arrested and accused of mounting a coup against the government after attempting to storm the presidential palace yesterday. Military units led by General Juan Jose Zuniga, dismissed as commander of the Bolivian army a day earlier, occupied the main square in the capital. Man, dude, can you not just accept the fact that you've been relieved of command? Nope, he had to start a coup. Shame on you. Shame on you. The Bidenator, Joe Biden, will be in a debate tonight. What the heck is this? Oh, stop doing that. Biden and Trump will face off in a debate tonight, and nobody will watch. Actually, a lot of people will be watching this. President Biden and Trump to face off in the first U.S. presidential debate. What to know? Joe Biden and Donald Trump are going head-to-head in their first debate ahead of November's hotly contested election. Ladies and gentlemen, and this debate will take place in Atlanta, Georgia tonight, less than 5 months for the election. I was in Atlanta yesterday on my flight back to Harrisburg, and I can tell you that there is a shortage of amphetamines. Apparently, there's been a run on amphetamines in Atlanta. They've all been bought up to feed Joe Biden so he can stay conscious during the debate. There are no amphetamines available in the streets of Atlanta. Supreme Court is allowing emergency abortions, the murder of citizens in Idaho. Yep. Supreme Court formally dismissed an appeal over Idaho's strict abortion ban Thursday, blocking enforcement of the state's law a day after the opinion was inadvertently posted on the court's website. At issue in the case was whether a state law that banned abortions except for the life of the pregnant woman. The Biden administration argued that a federal law required hospitals to also provide abortions in cases where health of a pregnant woman was at stake. But that's not true. There you go. Today's decision is not a victory for pregnant patients in Idaho. It is a delay. Well, people are just obsessed with the ability to murder citizens. I don't get their demonic obsession with murdering citizens. It's really sick and twisted. Supreme Court blocks the Purdue Pharma opioid settlement, threatening billions of dollars for victims. In a loss for the Sackler family, justice ruled that the bankruptcy judge did not have the authority to let its members evade facing future lawsuits. Supreme Court on Thursday blew up the massive bankruptcy reorganization of opioid maker Purdue Pharma, finding that the settlement inappropriately included legal protections for the Sackler family, meaning that billions of dollars secured to victims would not be available. And a 5-4 vote on non-ideological lines ruled that the bankruptcy court did not have the authority to release the Sackler family from legal claims made by opioid victims. As part of the deal, the family, which controlled the company, had agreed to pay $6 billion that would be used to settle the claims, but only return. So they are trying to get out of paying their $6 billion, and the court said no. Interesting. Harvard University finds that Jewish and Muslim students were harassed, bullied, and discriminated against. Well, I doubt many Muslims were harassed. They love Muslims, and they hate Jews. University task force created to combat anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim bias, released recommendations on what changes should be made. Well, get rid of all the people running Harvard University and stop allowing students to assault Jewish students on campus and start kicking them out of school. That's all you need to do. Problem solved. A Texas mom claims she was kicked off of a United flight for accidentally misgendering a flight attendant. Seriously? This is what United Airlines does? This is the same airline that punished its pilots during the lockdown scam. A Texas woman traveling with a 16-month-old son and mother claims she was kicked off her flight when she accidentally misgendered a flight attendant. Jenna Longoria, a woman's health and hormone expert from outside Austin, was boarding her flight at 9 a.m. in San Francisco when she slipped up and addressed the flight crew member by the wrong pronouns multiple times. When the flight attendant, who identifies as woman, gave me our boarding pass, I said, "Thank you, sir. That is it." She got upset. I walked on the plane to go down the aisle. Then she held my mother back and wouldn't let her come on the plane. So the flight attendant from United physically assaulted her mother. On board, she asked another male attendant for assistance, telling him that he, referring to the first flight attendant, had kept her mother. He said, yeah, she's wearing a dress, Longoria said. My son in my hand crying, I'm trying to get on the plane. She recalled as my mother, my prerogative is to get my son safely on the plane. Yeah. Wow. So look at that. Transgender. Misquoting a transgender. United Airlines, another fraudulent airline that mistreats its passengers, mistreats its staff, its pilots anyway. And now they kicked the woman off with a 16-month-old child from a flight because someone who believes they're a woman and dresses up as a woman was offended. Offended? The woman didn't assault. She didn't argue. She didn't disrespect. She didn't fail to comply with the orders of flight crew. Her being kicked off the flight is a violation of a contract signed between her and United Airlines. And this woman should sue them for every penny they've got and take them to bankruptcy court. United Airlines has no right to kick someone off a plane because someone is upset because they were called by the wrong pronoun. Grow up, you pansy little babies. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, the world's most livable cities for 2024. Anybody know what they are? You want to take a guess? Give me some thoughts. Let me get back to the chat, then we'll come back to the most livable cities in the country now that about 30 people have left because they didn't want to hear what I had to say. Anyway. Right, let's go back. I see Anna's here. Let's get back to it. Where the comments are. So what do you think the most livable cities in the world are? Go ahead and put your comment in there. Pick one city and throw it in. That was satire. Damn it, I want to report it as fact by doing the same due diligence like IOL. ANC's covering their butts. Yep. They know they will be charged with stealing if they give the too much power. Exactly, PK. That's the problem. That's why they don't want to give up trade and industry. Yep. Justin says, feels like a stalling exercise to allow the ANC an opportunity to negotiate with other parties so they can establish a setup that benefits them more. 100%, Justin. Agree with 100%. Gerhard Steenkamp, not the prop front rower for the Bulls. Gerhard Steenkamp says CNN, Karen News Network. Exactly. Cape Town guy says ANC have been in power for too long. There's no way they'll give up any of these positions due to high levels of corruption. Yep. Then they'll blame the DA for the GNU not working. 100%. That's why I said they should never have gone beyond the ANC-DA and the IFP. Yep. PK says ANC's trying to do everything it can to keep things covered. Exactly. Caroline, welcome to We Told You So, John. You did not want to listen. First of all, ANC still pulls the strings and the whole cabal are back in government again. Plus the rest of communist bros, what now? Well, Caroline, not exactly true. Back at Chile's gone. And a bunch of other these clowns are gone because the ANC screwed up their regional lists. And so a lot of them are actually gone, but the ANC is still there. That's correct. They're all rotten, says Kurtz. Yep. Do we have to change your earplugs now? Grasshopper's back and says, you guys just wait. I hope this does not happen, but it looks like the country will go through some hard times. PK, I've warned you of that long before this election. Even if the multi-party charter had gotten an outright majority and could work together, your country is in trouble for the next 5 years because you have a bureaucracy staffed with incompetent, functionally illiterate, useless, dead weight in many cases. Sorry, that's just a statement of fact. Same green uniforms as our border guards, says the Lesufis, okay? The Panyazis. It will be the reason the world government gets pulled. Joe says South African is once. By the way, folks, Parlor is back. This damn gnat's back again. Go away, you little bastard. It's like those fruit gnats. Anyway, so Parlor's back. Let me show you that. Oh, this thing is really driving me nuts here. Parlor is back. For those who don't know, this is entertaining for people watching it. So Parlor is, that's not what I wanted. I want the screen. Sorry, here it is. Parlor, the site that was shut down illegitimately by Jeff Bezos in a violation of their terms of service. Shut down Parlor. It's back. I've logged into the account today. I was able to log back in. They give you an email from where you're registered. You go to your email, and then you log into Parlor, and it's back. So people are posting on it. So I don't know how long it's been back, but it's been back for a little bit. So here you go. So Parlor, go to my friends. There's me right there, Chris Wyatt. All right, there you go. It says I have 9 posts. That's BS. I had hundreds of posts on here, but I still have 384 followers. That's interesting, and I'm following 85 people. I have 12 friends. I didn't know I had friends and followers on Parlor, but I have Parlor is back. So if you want to go to Parlor, I typed in parlor.com and it took me to it and it let me sign back in. Then it takes you to app.parlor.com. Anyway, so whoops, that's not what I wanted. That's not what's going on there. There you go, parlor.com. So. Sorry, the gnat is distracting me there. So yeah, if you want to go back to Parlor and set it back up, I love Parlor. It was fantastic. A great site. So it's back now. 207 people here currently now. 188 likes. What on earth ever happened to the 1980s principle non-racialism United Democratic Front seems to have died? Yes, it has died on the front line of ANC governance. You're correct. Yep. It's me against here. There's Kuban. Welcome to Kuban. Somebody mentioned you earlier and I didn't see you. Cape Town, it's just me or is this world going nuts? The world is nuts. All the world's major powers are right across the sea in Djibouti. Okay. Debbie says, why would you have... What? I don't know what Debbie's saying. China will cancel you. That's true. Also, you should be worried about the amount of military base that China is building. Oh, I've been worried about that for 30 years. You really don't want to go to the Chi-Coms. No, Flesh, and I don't want to go to the Chi-Coms. Love life too much. Thanks to be. Yep, exactly. Don't want to go there. Joe says, Chris, thanks for your level-headed perspective. Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Be sure to hit the like button. We've gained 2 more since I asked. They're trying to rebuild the old trade silk route. Not working. The Belt and Road Initiative is not working the way they thought it would. Whatever the media is thinking is bad publicity is having the opposite effect on people. They need some new tricks for us. Exactly. They're not fooling us. Erica's got a feeling Ramaphosa made pre-election promises. Yeah, and he's got to fulfill them now. Crab toast. Whites are a minority in the world at the same ratio as whites are a minority in South Africa. That's probably true. Well, look, it's N. I think he was trying to type hello, but he missed a letter there. Welcome, N. And drop in a bucket is here. And then what else? Helen must call it quits this evening. All her tricks have failed her. Again, N doesn't elaborate. What tricks and why must she quit? What else we got here? When I saw Zelensky dance to all the single ladies, I realized the world's lost its mind. Yes. Did you see him do the penis piano playing video? That was something. Jacques says, I get the feeling like Satan has a special place in his heart for America. He's doing his best to destroy it. I think so. N says, Ramaphosa won't be bullied by anyone. Actually, N, that's factually incorrect, and it flies in the face of history. Ramaphosa will be bullied by a host of people. Becca Chile, Jacob Zuma, Julius Malema. He's been bullied by a whole coterie of people for the past 5 years. Yes, and that's going to be his excuse of why everything was so broken, because he couldn't do what he wanted to. He didn't have the freedom and the ability to move and make decisions because he had a cabinet full of diehard stalwarts from the radical economic transformation and from Zuma's previous cabinet. Yeah, Ramaphosa gets bullied by everyone. Don't kid yourself, N. Yeah, are there enough adult diapers in Atlanta for Poop and Joe? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they do. Smee says, aren't United the same? Yes, they fired half their staff for not getting the jab. That's correct. Same idiots. Yep. Okay, so now people are giving us the best towns here. I finally caught up to that. Okay, I gave you time to put in here. Let's see. Misgender this. Los Angeles, says scientists. Clearly that is just sarcasm. Fleshin says Oxford. That's clearly sarcasm. Scientist says Cape Town. Okay, that's a good one. PK says New York under Rudy Giuliani. Yes, but no longer. Debbie says agree. I'm still taking crap for the abuse from air hostess for calling me racist. Yeah, I'm going to put up with that. Maryland says not Johannesburg. Correct. Drop in a bucket says Kingston Town. In Jamaica? No, my brother. I don't think it's Jamaica. No, man. No. Crab Toes says Amsterdam. We'll look and see. Cape Town. That's a good guess again by Kenyan Queza. And then Charleston, South Carolina, says Garrett. I don't think so, but good guess. Smee says aren't. Okay, I already got that. And then Wellington, New Zealand. Good guess, Garrett. The anti-native comrades are holding off. Why did ANC not go for minority government? Because it would have collapsed on them. So, and the minority government would never have approved Ramaphosa to be president. That's the main reason. And Joe says cabinet constructive deadwood. Monu Negi says DA Sports Ministry, end of quota system sports. Don't count on it. Let's see what else. What is Parlor? Oh, scientists, really? Parlor is a social media app that was just absolutely amazing, folks. Absolutely amazing. So I'm going to give you a link to my account if you want to check out Parlor. So it's back up. I've been waiting for it. It's been down for like almost 3 years, ever since they foolishly put all of their eggs in one basket by putting their data on Amazon Web Services. And Amazon Web Services is a dishonest, illegitimate criminal corporation which violated the terms of their contract by falsely claiming that Parler was supporting the fake insurrection that took place in January of 2021. No, that's not what happened. Parler actually communicated to the FBI at the National Counterterrorism Center, giving them information. Whoops, am I been disconnected? What's going on? There we go. Communicated to the National Counterterrorism Center in D.C. and the FBI, telling that there were people who were putting things on Parler that made them concerned about January 6th. And they shared that with the government. Facebook allowed that sort of content, never told the government about it, was never punished for it because they're not on Amazon Web Services. But Parler put all their eggs in that basket. And Jeff Bezos, the fascist little clown himself, banned Parler and destroyed their business model. Yep, so they're gone. They're back now, though. Joel wants to know if I'm excited. I'm not excited at all. Yeah, about the Biden-Trump debate. It's all rigged. CNN is going to make Trump look bad, and all they're going to do is ask idiotic questions about convictions and crimes, none of which are germane or relevant to the election, which is the intent and purpose. The fact that Trump would sign up for a debate to go on CNN shows bad judgment in my part, or my view. So that's what Parlor is. And Gypsy Backpackers says, I'm going back in. Okay, good. Parlor, there you go. And I'm not excited. Kathy Vermeulen says, no, South African cabinet could be opportunity for a coup d'etat. No, there's not going to be a coup d'etat. Who's going to do it? SAPS? The Sandef? No coup d'etat coming in South Africa. Not going to happen. All right. And what else we got there? ANC minority government would have forced them to make the second runner-up deputy president. Exactly. Yep. Islamabad. No, anymore. It's not. Uzbekistan is a country. Dirk Dupree, not a town. And Cape Town. All right, now we're going to get to it. Let's get back to that story now. We're there. Most beautiful or most livable cities for 2024. Let's get to it. Here is the list. I'm going to skip through the article and go right to the bottom. This, of course, comes from CNN, so consider what you think about it. There's Vienna. Look at that. And that's, of course, the Danube, the blue Danube. And there is Toronto. And there is Zurich. And now let's see Vancouver. And here we go. The 10 most livable cities in the world. Number 1. Vienna. Number 2, Copenhagen. Number 3, Zurich. Number 4, Melbourne. Number 5, Calgary. Number 6, tied for number 5 is Geneva. Number 7, Sydney. Tied for number 7, Vancouver. Number 9, Osaka. And number 9, Auckland. So we got 3 ties in the top 10. So Vienna, Austria, been there? Fantastic city. Copenhagen, Denmark, been there. Better city than Vienna. Zurich, Switzerland, been there. Best of the 3. Melbourne, Australia, not been there. Calgary, Canada, been there. Great city. Geneva, Switzerland, I wouldn't consider one of the 10 best cities in the world. Sydney, Australia, only been at the airport, can't say. Vancouver, Canada, one of the best cities in the world, despite the fact that it's run by Canadians. Amazing, Vancouver. Osaka, Japan, fantastic city. And Auckland, fantastic city, even though it's run by fascist totalitarians in New Zealand. So yeah, I'd agree with all but Geneva on that list. That's correct. Those are the 10 most livable cities in the world. I agree. You notice they're not in Finland, the happiest country in the world, or Sweden. They're not there. No, they're not there. They're in these other places. So there you have it. There's the news for today, folks. Be sure to hit the like button. We're down to 206 viewers. Let me answer your questions and address anything you might have to say. Awkward Leon says, did you see Virgin Active left Twitter because people were complaining they were lying? Yeah, well, good for them. Good for them. People will leave Virgin Active and stop using it. There's one, by the way, at Loftus Park next to Loftus Versfeld. Matthew, did I miss anything important? Hey, Matthew, apparently the Ronaldo Back of Buddy's gone. Did you know that? I think you know that. WTF, seriously, I'd also leave. Yeah, that's what they did. Japan is on top of my bucket list, says Leon. Yeah, Japan's amazing. No, I didn't say liberal. I said livable. Seoul. I've never been to Seoul, Korea, although Brett Sessions, who's been a frequent viewer of the program, he has been to Seoul in Korea. I've never been there. Matthew says, what? Feud security is going forward. Smee again says, oh, there you go, Smee. Thank you for your membership. You've been a member. I think it must have expired or something. So thank you for that. Yeah, what makes or breaks a city are the people. Agreed, Sean, 100%. Vancouver's amazing, despite the fact that the original ethnic Chinese, which are about 25 to 30% of the population, who came over from Hong Kong as a place to escape and have an escape valve, they're there. These are democratically aligned capitalists who don't have racial issues. And now you have the more recent immigrants from China, the Chi-Coms, who came from mainland China. Those two groups are like oil and water. They do not mix very well in Vancouver, and most of the tensions in that city come between them. But Anglos are a minority in their own city. They founded, named after a gentleman named Vancouver. Yeah, so, but it is an amazing city. It's beautiful, great geographic location, a clean city, a city that works, and, you know, it's a nice place, despite the fact it's run by Canadians. No, I said livable. If I said liberal, it was a faux pas. Switzerland's really something also, the way that they kept themselves safe with all the wars and underground bunkers. Yeah, no, the Swiss shot down Allied and Nazi planes equally during the Second World War. They didn't show any favor to one side or the other. They shot them all down. Right. Folks, if you have not seen it, I did a video on the Supreme Court decision. That's on my other channel. Let me go there after I get off here. And if you are interested, you might be interested to know that I produced 115 or no, 116 videos in the 30 days or thereabouts. Not even 30 days I was in South Africa. 116 videos. Wow. That was a lot of content. I tried to bring the news to people, and I see we're being rewarded with more viewers showing up here. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Sedgefield says, Guady must be, what? I don't know what he's talking about there. Debbie says, those who troll together roll together. Stayed in Detroit, post-apocalyptic crap hole, USA says. Yeah, no, Detroit is a disaster. And New York is becoming one as well. Really, really sad about that. All right, folks, we got to push here towards the end of the month. Don't be shy. The Super Chat revenue has just completely evaporated since I got on a plane. And if you want to Super Chat and try to get us back to a level we haven't seen in a couple of years, I mean, I'm looking at how we're doing in revenue this month. We have not had this kind of revenue. Let me see. The last time I had this much come in the last year, this is the biggest revenue month. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. It doesn't even pay for a third of my flight. So if you want to Super Chat, you're welcome to do it. I've had 845,719 monetized playbacks. For that, I get a couple $100. YouTube Premium has brought a little bit of money in. But is this the year or the lifetime? No, it's past year. Anyway, but we're very grateful for those who've become subscribers. That's pretty awesome. Let me take a look at subscribers. I'm looking for analytics here. Overview, live count. So there we go. We're growing a little bit. We've been growing slowly again since about the 19th. Yeah, very slow the past week, but thank you all for that. But in the last 90 days, we have pretty significant growth, and that's attributable to the trip in South Africa. If we go back to May 1st, there were less than 15,000. April 30th, so May 1st, we had 14,000. So I got to go April 30th. 14,914 subscribers on the channel. So it's 15. So 2,000, almost 2,400 new subscribers since May 1st. That's pretty awesome. 2 months. Thank you for that. That's why I said New York, but that's why you left. Joe Neiman, hey, good to see you again there, Joe. Sorry we missed out on KZN. I would really love to have come up there, but there just wasn't time with all the events. Any update from Ronaldo regarding donations? Yeah, I don't know. Let me ask. I'll send him a note. We haven't seen Ronaldo in the chat today. What's going on here? So someone's, I'm sorry, I just got a note here. So let me see if I've got something for Ronaldo. I'll send him a note and see if he's answering. He's pretty good at answering, but he's busy, obviously. Oh, boy, my typing needs to get some work here. I'm getting a little, there we go. So I just sent him a note, asking him, see if he's there, and if he's got it. You snooze, you lose. We'll have to make you back a troll, Matthew. Yeah, I'm looking, Matthew, for see if there's any updates on that. Ronaldo did share that the attorneys would share. Hey, Julie, how's it going? They would be sharing the stuff daily, but I mean, I don't know what that means. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking at my analytics here, and we've had spikes. We had a spike on Tuesday from 2 to 3 p.m. So I was still in South Africa then. And then we had a spike yesterday from 2 to 3 p.m. Okay. And we have a spike today from 1 to 2. So 2 to 3 p.m., which would be 8 to 9 o'clock, that seems to be a hot spot. So maybe I'll start debuting my videos at 8 p.m. South Africa time. Do you think South Africa can win the final on Saturday? I assume you're talking about cricket. Sure, they can win it. Despite their racist policies, they can win it. Yep, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, we'll see if South Africa can actually win this thing. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Anyway, folks, so I put some content. Oh, we dropped below 200 viewers. Damn. Yeah, India can take it. Yes, India can, Debbie. I agree. But I've put a video back on that Real Chris Wyatt. And so if you want to go watch that, feel free to do that. I had 50 views on that after posting it, which is better than usual. And that was when the first time. PK hope so. Well, I'm not worried about that. My interest is more focused on the Ireland series coming up and then Portugal. But I'm not worried about Portugal. I want to see the Bucks do very well here. So the South African Springboks are in a position with the talent level they have, the coaching staff they have, the ability they have to be a team that replicates what the All Blacks did for about a 9-year run there during the teen years. So we'll see if they can pull it off. Looking forward to it, but it's a long way between now and then. And I'm talking about a 9-year run from today. I'm not talking about the past 2 years because they didn't dominate the past 2 years. They won 2 World Cups, but they didn't dominate. They won the World Cup by 3 points. They won the quarter, the semi, and the final by a single point each. Yep. If they win, maybe we'll get another public holiday. Don't count on that, scientist. The ANC doesn't have time for public holidays. They have to find a cabinet and put it together. So let me go back to News 24 and look and see if anything has happened with that government really quickly here. Someone's sending me a MAGA shirt. I don't have a MAGA shirt. That's funny. News 24. Let's see if the government has been announced. It's supposed to be announced today. Nope, still nothing. Nothing. No, that's not a surprise, even remotely. Yeah, so anyway, any questions from anybody before we wrap up this program today? I'll be happy to take any questions if anybody's got it. Highly doubt it, says PK. What? Highly doubt what? The cricket team will win? I don't know. Maybe they will. Anyway. Yeah, so we hit 200 viewers about 20 minutes in the program, and we stayed there all the way to this point. That's pretty cool. So over an hour. Thank you for that. Really appreciate that. It's nice to see the feedback in the channel. Oh, you doubt there's news in the government? Yeah, there is none, PK. That's correct. Yes. Indy's a tough team, so doubt it, says Jean right now. Well, you're probably right. Indy is tough when it comes to cricket. We'll see what happens, but I'm not really concerned about that. Right now, I'm more concerned about my mug and bean. Matthews, can we expect a 2028 campaign? 2028? Matthew, what office are you talking about? Dylan wants to know how the trip was. The trip was fine. Thanks for the hearts that are going up and the smiles and laughs and everything. That interaction is pretty cool. The trip was fine. Better than my Lufthansa trip back 2 years ago when I was paralyzed for 2 weeks after that. That was horrible. Yeah, and if I can make it back on a trip these days and my feet aren't killing me and my hip isn't in agony, I'm doing pretty well. Yeah. How does a muffin taste? Like blueberries. The Bulls beat the Griquas last night. So have we started? Is that in the Craven week? Is that what you're talking about? Or are we talking about, because we haven't started Curry Cup, have we? Yes, you keep showing you're not eating it. Yeah. Okay, do you want me to take a bite of it? Would you like me to take a bite of my muffin? Dad has been waiting for World War II for South to win cricket. Oh my goodness, Crab Toes. Well, I hope they win them for your father's sake. That's crazy. Yes, Debbie, I have mug and bean. We don't have them here. This one has been hand carried from Cape Town International Airport all the way across the Atlantic. Blueberry muffin. No, we don't have mug and bean here. That's good. That's good. The government of National Unity Reports a failed what? What's the feedback on what? Whoop. ASMR channel confirmed. I have no idea what that means. Slogan being, says Garrett. The DA is walking? What? Is this coming out now? Did it just come out in the news? Let me get back to the news. It's not reported by News 24. Oh, here it is. IOL. ANC coalition with DA collapses amid leaked letters and public spats. There it is. ANC to hold crisis talks over cabinet deadlock. Okay. As MK waits in the wings. Wow. IOL's reporting it, folks. Just came out. The coalition agreement between the ANC and the DA's collapsed, according to sources, following a series of public spats. Well, according to sources, they haven't announced it. Mark, I don't drink coffee. It's an evil substance invented by Satan to enslave mankind. Highly placed sources within the ANC. Okay, we got to do this real quick here. I'm going to cover this now. Wow, breaking news out of South Africa. The coalition has collapsed, according to the Independent Online, from sources. All right, so we're going to go there now to the Independent Online. I'll look to see if Times Live or Daily Mac have got it. Times, and we'll go to Twitter. Let's see if it's being reported. I'll just do GNU. That should give me a... here we go. GNU. Dalian Pofu is posting something. Okay, GNU. Let's see, Twitter. Right, nothing there. So only the IOL is reporting this. And they're claiming that highly placed sources within the African National Congress confirmed the deal is all but over following a series of disagreements and public spats between the two parties. As part of the Government National Unity arrangement, the ANC-DA formed a voter base of 62% with other parties also signing a document intent. However, a week after electing Ramaphosa, the deal has reportedly backfired due to a squabble over positions and ministries. Result in a flurry of leaked letters between the two parties. It's all but over. The ANC in general wasn't very thrilled with the DA coalition. This has been made worse because of how the DA has conducted itself, particularly around leaking information and letters to the media. I'm sorry, Fikile Mbalula and the ANC are the ones leaking the letters. Right. Another source privy to high-level discussions said the ANC negotiating team was not happy with the DA's posture. The way the ANC is being spoken to and how they are coming across as a problem, the feeling is that we don't need to form DA government. Well, there you go. There you go. What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? Steenhuisen also suggested that sports, arts and culture, agriculture, rural development, land reform, and public service administration be allocated to them. In a final letter to Steenhuisen, Ramaphosa accused the DA of shifting the goalposts after the constant change demands. No, according to the media report earlier, it's the ANC that changed the demands and shifted the goalposts. So there you have it, folks. Breaking news out of South Africa: the government of national unity is collapsing, according to the Independent line. I'm going to end this stream shortly, and I'm going to start another live stream, and I'm going to cover this story and talk about it and tell you the ramifications and the positives of it. Yes, I know the IO is a mouthpiece for the radical economic transformation of the ANC. Well, that's why I said the IOL is reporting it. I didn't say it was factual. I said they're saying it. This might very well be all an attempt to scupper the whole thing. So there you go. Yep, you're correct. Unless it comes from the parties themselves, we cannot believe. Thank you, scientists. That's what I'm saying. We can't believe any of this stuff. That's why people are saying, what about this? The DA is being unreasonable. We don't know the DA is being unreasonable. This is what unnamed sources who are leaking information. That's why you can't trust these people. You want to bet that this is all smokescreen? It's not real? That the party hasn't collapsed? That the GNU is still going on? Wow. Slippery pickle. Yeah, no, it's me again. One could make the argument that Ramaphosa only used the DA to stay in power. Maybe that's true because they voted for him. Almost put my foot in it. Chris, is Ramaphosa still president? Yes, Maryland, because it doesn't matter. What happens? Let's suppose that this report has something to it and it's legitimate and the agreement's over. The DA walks out. That leaves the government of national unity with 200 seats. They can't rule. They need 2 votes. So they either find someone else and move on, or other people also leave it. And if the DA leaves, I bet you the Freedom Front Plus will also leave. So there it goes. That's 4 more seats. So then they need 6 seats. That puts them in a deep spot. So if they leave, it doesn't matter. The only way that things matter and Ramaphosa is no longer president is if there is a vote of no confidence. The EFF has already stated they want to get a vote of no confidence. So let's say the EFF votes to remove Ramaphosa from power. That's 39 seats. Then the DA would have 87 seats. Add to that, so that's 87, 97, 107, 117, 127. About 124 there, about something like that. Over a quarter of the seats. And they still need another 70 seats to unseat him. They need 70 more votes, so they can't do it. They need a lot of help to get rid of him. But 58 coming from MK, that's possible. Let's just do the math here real quick, folks. Let me just add it up here. Let me put this on the sheet here. So that would give the EFF, which has 39. The DA has 87. MK, which doesn't like Ramaphosa, has 58. And let's see what that adds up to. That's not going to get us to 201, which is what they need to unseat him and a vote of no confidence. And by the way, if they get a vote of no confidence, then Marilyn was talking about this when I was at her house. Then he's done for because he can't run again. Why is the numbers locked? There we go. So 39 plus 87 plus 58. That's 184. That still leaves them 17 votes shy of removing him. Well, they could get more votes from Freedom Plus, from Action SA, from BOSA maybe. They could unseat him, but it's not going to be the easiest thing to do. Yeah, the Freedom Front Plus will walk, yes. Yeah, if it's true, there will be a vote of no confidence. I mean, the vote of no confidence would be legitimate in the parliamentary sense because the no confidence would be the man couldn't form a government. See, you guys are asking earlier, what happens if the DA leaves? This is the danger for the ANC. The danger for the ANC is that if people live by the concept of a parliamentary government, then it could cause Ramaphosa to be out of office because Arctic says he'll go with a vote of no confidence. UDM might leave too. Yeah, well, you say that, guys, but we don't know that factually. We don't know that. You don't know what party's going to do. They may claim what they're going to do, but the ANC would offer them something. I mean, look at it this way. The ANC could offer some little tiny party like the UDM, like, Home Affairs, and they go for it. Or, give the EFF the deputy president position, and they go for it. And next thing you know, they put together a coalition. They have 40% of the vote. They only need 10%. 10%. You need 10% more members. Well, that's 40 votes. 41, actually. Well, actually, just 40. They get 40, takes them to, well, no, 41 they need to get to 200. Yeah, so get 41 votes, and they can stop it. That's 200. Do you think they would turn over newly fetched stealing trillions? No, I don't think they did. Yeah, so there you have it. Slippery Pickle voted for no confidence before the election. Yeah, unfortunately, not in Parliament. Yep, IFP. Yeah, so there you go. So the IFP would leave, I think. Yeah, so that's there you go. So let me add that to it. The IFP has 17 seats. Okay, so that's 17 IFP. It's 17. Okay, add 17 to the, what did I say it was? 184 plus 17. That gets you to 2. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Did I do the math correctly? Let me do it again. You're right. We don't need that many. EFF 39, DA 87, MK 58, IFP 17. That's 201. But in order to get to 201, the DA would have to reinstate Ronaldo Cruz because he can't vote right now. He's suspended by the party. So they would have to reinitiate Ronaldo Cruz to get to 201, or they have to get Musi or somebody else to come on board. But right there, the EFF, the DA, MK, and IFP have 201 votes. They could have a vote of no confidence, and if all members of their parties vote no confidence, Ramaphosa's out. Ramaphosa's out. Wow. Wow. Look at there. Yeah, they're probably all just messing with us, yeah. DA screwed the pooch, says Debbie. I don't know about that. Not a fan of them, but I don't think they screwed the pooch. Yep. And I regard your approach in moving the goal. This is what Ramaphosa apparently said to say. In moving the goalposts is a continuation of what was articulated in your federal chair's letter of 2024 on issues such as sealed mandates of ministries, through which the DA seemed to want to set up parallel government that would operate outside the framework and parameters of constitution-based method and protocols of running the government of South Africa. According to Ramaphosa, the latest proposals by DA do not align with principles adopted and encapsulated in the statement of intent. Well, according to the statement of intent, which we haven't yet to see, yet to be publicly disclosed, Fikile Mabalula invited people to the statement of intent without permission from the DA, which apparently was a precondition. So there's all kinds of stuff in that statement of intent that are being violated according to the media. But we don't know. We haven't read the statement of intent because it's not publicly disclosed. Yep. Just got my motorbike back yesterday. Engine has been rebuilt. That's more awesome than some stupid government. What's this? Bipolar polar bears. What? Yeah. So there you go. All right. So there you have it, folks. The government of national unity. Let's see if anybody else is picking up on this story now. Let me go. So News 24, have they reported on it yet? Nope, they haven't reported on it yet. This is a source that we know nothing about. So Times Live, and let me go look for the Daily Maverick and see if any of them got the story. Times Live doesn't have the story. Yep, no, nobody's got it. Just the IOL. IOL is busy searching for relevance, folks. They're working really, really hard to get that relevance here. Reality was set in for CR soon. MK, EFF licking their lips. Yeah, we'll see. When you take your meds, what's this? Yeah, anyway. All right, folks, 191 people here. You guys are awesome. I really enjoy it. Thanks for being here. Wow, I didn't do the math. That's crazy math. I'm going to have to make a video just on that and talk about that. If they could, Ramaphosa could be out if in fact this is true. Again, we have nothing but an IOL report making claims, and we've already seen how unreliable the IOL is, putting themselves in legal jeopardy by unequivocally calling Ronaldo Cruz a racist and failing to inform the public that the video that they were using to call him a racist was an altered video that was edited to take the context out. So we've already seen how unreliable the IOL is. So is this a reliable report? I don't know. KTM, no, the mechanic. I don't know who that is. DA voters have no right to complain if their gamble doesn't work out. They had a chance to vote for a referendum. DA but that would only help the Western Cape. It doesn't help South Africans. DA entitled to 9 positions and still ANC cadres not happy with giving them 6. Exactly, dropping a bucket. Fair point. Very fair point. Yep. And they're saying the DA is arrogant when they're only offering them a percentage smaller than what they got in the vote. Yep. Yep. Enjoy the Blu-ray muffin. Thanks for the updates. You're very welcome, Debbie. Blistering barnacles, Colonel. We're back to square one. No, we're not, Garrett. We're not back. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Don't fall for it. It might be true. We don't know. Again, this source is the independent line. We've already seen how dishonest they are. The government of impunity. Yeah, exactly. Anyway. All right, everybody. That's going to wrap it up here for today. I've got some errands to run as usual. I need to go get some more gummy bears because they were out locally. I have to get them down the road. And thanks for being here. We'll be back with any news updates and analysis. Plus, I'll be back tomorrow for the program. Tomorrow is Friday. It'll be a Leka Freitag. We're approaching the end of June here very quickly. 201 people. We went back to 200. Thanks. Be sure to hit the like button. Thank you for tuning in. And if you want to leave a comment behind on the video, feel free to do that because the interaction is helping. You see that my trip to South Africa this time has stopped the floodgates of people being hidden. But remember, if you get unsubscribed by YouTube, this is what you should always do. Make a bookmark on my channel. Save it. And remember, every day at 6 p.m. South Africa time, regardless of the season, unless I'm consulting or I'm traveling, I'm doing the news, covering South Africa, the continent, and around the world. Ron, good night to you. Ronaldo, check your phone. Oh, Ronaldo said, oh, hang on. Before I do that, yeah. So Ronaldo's gave me an update here. What's this? Oh, 8,500 this morning. Okay, so 8,500 Rand has already been donated on the attorney site. Now, here's a... there's a thing here from Microsoft News by Megan Funda Heaver. And what is she saying? So I'm not sure. The story is being carried by MSN. Threats, intimidation, Ronaldo donations be returned. Let me see. Halted by Back a Buddy. Back a Buddy God, I keep getting these scam calls here. Back a Buddy CEO said the campaign was flagged after initiating. It did not fit into Back a Buddy's terms and conditions. So that's not true. He said the campaign had also seen threats and intimidation against IOL staffers who first reported. What? That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. They're conflating IOL with this. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I don't understand that at all. Anyway, folks, 8,500 Rand have already been deposited in the account, and it's not an accurate reflection because all the bank data hasn't carried across. Ronaldo says, thanks. Lots of love and support. There you go. Ronaldo's here. I figured he was watching the background. That's why we said lots of bad things about Ronaldo. Terrible, terrible things. We launched all that hateful stuff at Ronaldo. All right, pick Jacobs. Jacobs, there you go. All right. There you have it, folks. So there's an update on the funding level that's gone into it so far, 8,500 Rand. And then the money from the 48,000 is going to be returned by Back a Buddy, who claims that terms and conditions were violated. The only terms and conditions violated on the Back a Buddy campaign site that Matthew Dixon set up is Back a Buddy. I've read their terms and conditions. There's nothing in that campaign that violated anything. They're dishonest and unfair, and they'll pay for it. They'll pay for it. Okay, because people simply won't use their site. They can't trust them, just like GoFundMe. No one can trust that site. Fantastic. As the useless one-siders have returned funds, I got mine and redid the deposits new one. There you go. So Debbie's already gotten her money back and already sent the money on. So there you go. Fantastic. And you guys take care. If there's breaking news, again, the IOL, again, they are as reliable as, I don't know, who's on roll? Joe Biden. There we go. Joe Biden. All right. That's it. Cheers. Thanks, everybody. God bless. Have a good night. And we'll chat later if something breaks. Arctic wants another election. There's no money for it. There's no money for an election. And there's not much appetite for it. And by the way, if there's another election, ANC will be destroyed. Yep. Support Ronaldo. It's on the pin for link on Chris's WhatsApp group. There you go. One of the groups. All right, guys. Vander du Plessis, VFR 1,200 times. Okay. Leon says, the IOL, the independent line, is reliable as a paper condom. By the way, on my interview last night on our program, the gentleman interviewed Dan Wilson, running for sheriff in Kootenai County, Idaho, in the Panhandle, where Coeur d'Alene's located at. He used the phrase liberty without compromise. And I'm going to appropriate that. I'll give him credit for it, though. But liberty without compromise. And that's going to wrap it up here from Central Pennsylvania, folks. Still a little bit tired from my trip, but none of that... what do you call it when you? What is it when you're not up to snuff after a flight? I can't think of the word. Anyway, I don't have that, but I'm just tired in general. It's a long month. Cheers, everybody. ANC will collapse in MK for a new election. We'll see. Jet lag. Thank you, Arctic. A pilot would know the term jet lag. Thank you. I have no jet lag. Blueberry muffin time. That's correct. Good night, everybody. God bless. Be safe out there.
Adam, pull the mic and let's see what you get.
Don't run off yet. Don't run off yet. More to follow. More to follow. It's coming. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it, folks. It's coming. Adam Lambert. It's coming. Here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Wait for it. Adam Lambert. Figures appropriate. Yeah. Adam Lambert, the Muffin Man. I still love that. So funny. All right, folks, that's it. Have a good one. Take care of yourselves. For those of you who left too soon, you missed out. That was the Easter egg for today. We held on to the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man? I love it. I love it. No secret agent man today, but it is the Muffin Man. Cheers, everybody. Be safe.